Chapter 2. I was 20 then. What the hell, I used to say. Take your time, Bandini. You got 10 years to write a book, so take it easy. Get out and learn about life. Walk the streets. That's your struggle, your ignorance of life. Why, my God, man, do you realize you never had any experience with a woman? Oh, yes, I have. Oh, I've had plenty. Oh, no, you haven't. You need a woman. You need a bath. You need a good, swift kick. You need money. They say it's $1. They say it's $2 in the swell places. But down on the plaza, it's $1. Swell. Only you haven't got $1. And another thing, you coward. Even if you had $1, you wouldn't go. Because you had a chance to go to Denver once and you didn't. No, you coward. You were afraid and you're still afraid. And you're glad you haven't got $1. Afraid of a woman? Ha? Great writer, this. How can he write about women when he's never had a woman? Oh, you lousy fake, you phony. No wonder you can't write. No wonder there wasn't a woman and the little dog laughed. No wonder it wasn't a love story, you fool, you dirty little schoolboy. To write a love story, to learn about life. Money arrived in the mail. Not a check from the mighty Heckmuth, not an acceptance from the Atlantic Monthly or the Saturday Evening Post. Only $10. Only a fortune. My mother sent it. Some dime insurance and policies. Arturo, I had them taken up for their cash value, and this is your share. But it was $10. One manuscript or author, and at least one manuscript or another. At least something had been sold. Put it in your pocket, Arturo. Wash your face, comb your hair. Put some stuff on to make you smell good while you stare into the mirror looking for gray hairs. Because you're worried, Arturo. You're worried, and that brings gray hair. But there was none, not a strand. Yeah, but what of that left eye? It looks discolored. Careful, Arturo Bandini. Don't strain your eyesight. Remember what happened to Tarkington. Remember what happened to James Joyce. Not bad. Standing in the middle of the room, talking to Hackmuth's picture. Not bad, Hackmuth. You'll get a story out of this. How do I look, Hackmuth? Do you sometimes wonder, Herr Hackmuth, what I look like? Do you sometimes say to yourself, I wonder if he's handsome, that Bandini fellow, author of that brilliant Little Dog Laughed? Once in Denver, there was another night like this. Only I was not an author in Denver, but I stood in a room like this and made these plans, and it was disastrous because all the time in that place I thought about the Blessed Virgin, and thou shalt not commit adultery. And the hard-working girl shook her head sadly and had to give it up. But that was a long time ago, and tonight it will be changed. I climbed out the window and scaled the incline to the top of Bunker Hill. A night for my nose, a feast for my nose, smelling the stars, smelling the flowers, smelling the desert, and the dust asleep across the top of Bunker Hill. The city spread out like a Christmas tree, red and green and blue. Hello, old houses, beautiful hamburgers singing in cheap cafes, Bing Crosby singing too. She'll treat me gently. Not those girls of my childhood, those girls of my boyhood, those girls of my university days. They frightened me. They were diffident. They refused me. But not my princess, because she will understand. She too has been scorned. Bandini, walking along, not tall but solid, proud of his muscles, squeezing his fists to reveal in the hard delight of his biceps, absurdly fearless Bandini, fearing nothing but the unknown in a world of mysterious wonder. Are the dead restored? The book says no. The night shouts yes. I am 20. I have reached the age of reason. I'm about to wander the streets below, seeking a woman. Is my soul already smirched? Should I turn back? Does an angel watch over me? Do the prayers of my mother allay my fears? Do the prayers of my mother annoy me? $10. It will pay the rent for 2.5 weeks. It will buy me 3 pairs of shoes, 2 pairs of pants, or 1,000 postage stamps to send materials to the editors. Indeed. But you haven't any material. Your talent is dubious. Your talent is pitiful. You haven't any talent. And stop lying to yourself day after day because you know the Little Dog Laughed is no good, and it will always be no good. So you walk along Bunker Hill, and you shake your fist at the sky, and I know what you're thinking, Bandini. The thoughts of your father before you lash across your back. hot fire in your skull, that you are not to blame. This is your thought, that you were born poor, son of miseried peasants, driven because you were poor, fled from Colorado town because you were poor, rambling the gutters of Los Angeles because you are poor, hoping to write the book to get rich because those who hated you back there in Colorado will not hate you if you write a book. You are a coward, Bandini, a traitor to your soul, a feeble liar before your weeping Christ. This is why you write. This is why it would be better if you died. Yes, it's true. But I've seen houses in Bel Air with cool lawns and green swimming pools. I have wanted women whose very shoes are worth all I have ever possessed. I have seen golf clubs on 6th Street in the Spalding window that make me hungry just to grip them. I have grieved for a necktie like a holy man for indulgences. I've admired hats and Robinsons the way critics gasp at Michelangelo. I took the step-down Angel's Flight to Hill Street, 140 steps with tight fists, frightened of no man, but scared of the 3rd Street tunnel, scared to walk through it, claustrophobia. Scared of high places too, and of blood and of earthquakes, otherwise quite fearless, accepting death, except the fear I'll scream in a crowd, except the fear of appendicitis, except the fear of heart trouble. Even that, sitting in his room, holding the clock and pressing his jugular vein, counting out his heartbeats, listening to the weird purr and whir of his stomach, otherwise quite fearless. Here is an idea with money. These steps, the city below, the stars within throwing distance. Boy meets girl idea, good setup, big money idea. Girl lives in that gray apartment house, boy is a wanderer, boy, he's me. Girl's hungry. Rich Pasadena girl hates money. Deliberately left Pasadena's millions cause of a new weariness with money. Beautiful girl, gorgeous, great story. Pathological conflict. Girl with money phobia. Freudian setup. Another guy loves her. Rich guy, I'm poor. I meet rival. Beat him to death with caustic wit and also lick him with fists. Girl impressed falls for me. Offers me millions. I marry her on condition she'll stay poor. Agrees. But ending happy. Girl tricks me with huge trust fund day we get married. I'm indignant, but I forgive her because I love her. Good idea, but something's missing. Collier's story. Dear mother, thanks for the $10 bill. My agent announces the sale of another story, this time to a great magazine in London, but it seems they do not pay until publication, and so your little sum will come in handy for your various odds and ends. I went to the burlesque show. I had the best seat possible, $1.10, right under a chorus of 40 frayed bottoms. Someday all these will be mine. I will own a yacht and we will go on the South Sea cruises. On warm afternoons they will dance for me on the sun deck. But mine will be beautiful women, selections from the cream of society, rivals for the joys of my stateroom. Well, this is good for me. This is experience. I am here for a reason. These moments run into pages, the seamy side of life. Then Lola Letton came on, slithering like a satin snake amid the tumult of whistling and pounding feet. Lola Letton, lascivious, slithering, eluding my body, and when she was through, my teeth ached from my clamped jaws, and I hated the dirty lowbrow swine around me, shouting their share of sick joy that belonged to me. If Mama sold the policy, things would be fine for the old man, and I shouldn't be here. When I was a kid, pictures of Lola Lettons used to come my way, and I used to get so impatient with the slow crawl of time and boyhood, longing for this very moment, and here I am. And I have not changed, nor have the Lola Lettons, but I have fashioned myself rich, and I am poor. Main Street after the show, midnight, neon tubes and a light fog, honky-tonks and all-night picture houses, secondhand stores and Filipino dance halls, cocktails 15 cents, continuous entertainment, but I had seen them all, so many times, spent so much Colorado money in them. It left me lonely like a thirsty man holding a cup, and I walked towards the Mexican Quarter with a feeling of sickness without pain. Here was the Church of Our Lady, very old, the adobe blackened with age. For sentimental reasons, I will go inside. for sentimental reasons only. I have not read Lenin, but I have heard him quoted. Religion is the opium of the people. Talking to myself on the church steps, yeah, the opium of the people. Myself, I am an atheist. I have read The Antichrist, and I regard it as a capital piece of work. I believe in the transvaluation of values, sir. The church must go. It is the haven of booboisy, of boobs and blunder and all Brahmagan mountebanks. I pulled the huge door open and gave a little cry, like weeping. Above the altar sputtered the blood-red eternal light, illuminating in crimson shadow the quiet of almost 2,000 years. It was like death. But I could remember screaming infants at baptism too. I knelt. This was a habit, this kneeling. I sat down. Better to kneel, for the sharp bite at the knees was a distraction from the awful quiet. A prayer. Sure, one prayer for sentimental reasons. Almighty God, I am sorry I am now an atheist. But have you read Nietzsche? Ah, such a good book, Almighty God. I will play fair in this. I will make you a proposition. Make a great writer out of me, and I will return to the church. And please, dear God, one more favor. Make my mother happy. I don't care about the old man. He's got his wine and his health, but my mother worries so. Amen. I closed the weeping door and stood on the steps. The fog like a huge white animal everywhere. The plaza like our courthouse back home, snowbound in white silence. But all sounds traveled swift and sure through the heaviness, and the sound I heard was the click of high heels. A girl appeared. She wore an old green coat, her face molded in a green scarf tied under the chin. On the stairs stood Bandini. Hello, honey, she said, smiling, as though Bandini were her husband or her lover. Then she came to the first step and looked up at him. How about it, honey? Want me to show you a good time? Bold lover, bold and brazen Bandini. Nah, he said. No thanks, not tonight. He hurried away, leaving her looking after him, speaking words he lost in flight. He walked half a block. He was pleased. At least she had asked him. At least she had identified him as a man. He whistled a tune from sheer pleasure. Man about town has universal experience. Noted writer tells of night with woman of the streets. Arturo Bandini, famous writer, reveals experience with Los Angeles prostitute. Critic acclaims book finest written. Bandini, being interviewed prior to departure for Sweden. My advice to all young writers is quite simple. I would caution them never to evade a new experience. I would urge them to live life in the raw, to grapple with it bravely, to attack it with naked fists. Reporter: Mr. Bandini, how did you come to write this book which won you the Nobel Award? Bandini: the book is based on a true experience which happened to me one night in Los Angeles. Every word of that book is true. I lived that book, I experienced it. Enough. I saw it all. I turned and walked back towards the church. The fog was impenetrable. The girl was gone. I walked on. Perhaps I could catch up with her. At the corner I saw her again. She stood talking to a tall Mexican. They walked, crossed the street, and entered the plaza. I followed. My God, a Mexican. Women like that should draw the color line. I hated him, the spick, the greaser. They walked under the banana trees in the plaza, their feet echoing in the fog. I heard the Mexican laugh. Then the girl laughed. They crossed the street and walked down an alley that was the entrance to Chinatown. The oriental neon signs made the fog pinkish. At a rooming house next door to a chop suey restaurant, they turned and climbed the stairs. Across the street upstairs, a dance was in progress. Along the little street on both sides, yellow cabs are parked. I leaned against the front fender of the cab in front of the rooming house and waited. I lit a cigarette and waited. Until hell freezes over, I will wait. Until God strikes me dead, I will wait. A half hour passed. There were sounds on the steps. The door opened. The Mexican appeared. He stood in the fog, lit a cigarette, and yawned. Then he smiled absently, shrugged, and walked away, the fog swooping over him. Go ahead and smile, you stinking greaser. What have you got to smile about? You come from a bashed and a busted race, and just because you went to the room with one of our white girls, you smile. Do you think you would have had a chance had I accepted on the church steps? A moment later, the steps sounded to the slick of her heels, and the girl stepped into the fog. The same girl, the same green coat, the same scarf. She saw me and smiled. "Hello, honey. Want to have a good time?" "Easy now, Bandini." "Oh," I said. "Maybe and maybe not. What you got?" "Come up and see, honey." "Stop sniggering, Arturo. Be suave." "I might come up," I said, "and then I might not." "Aw, honey, come on." The thin bones of her face, the odor of sour wine from her mouth, the awful hypocrisy of her sweetness, the hunger for money in her eyes. Bandini speaking. "What's the price these days?" She took my arm, pulled me towards the door, but gently. "You come on up, honey. We'll talk about it up there." "I'm really not very hot," said Bandini. I just came from a wild party." Hail Mary, full of grace, walking up the stairs. I can't go through with it. I've got to get out of it. The hall smelling of cockroaches, a yellow light at the ceiling. "You're too aesthetic for all this." The girl holding my arm. "There's something wrong with you, Arturo Bandini. You're a misanthrope. Your whole life is doomed to celibacy. You should have been a priest." Father O'Leary talking that afternoon, telling us the joys of denial, and my own mother's money too. "O Mary, O Mary, conceived without sin, prayed for us who have recourse to thee." Until we got to the top of the stairs and walked down a dusty, dark hall to a room at the end, where she turned out the light and we were inside. A room smaller than mine, carpetless, without pictures, a bed, a table, a washstand. She took off her coat. There was a blue print dress underneath. She was bare-legged. She took off the scarf. She was not a real blonde. Black hair grew at the roots. Her nose was slightly crooked. Bandini on the bed put himself there with an air of casualness, like a man who knew how to sit on a bed. "Bandini, nice place you got here." "My God, I gotta get out of here. This is terrible." The girl sat beside me and put her arms around me, pushed her breast against me, kissed me, flecked my teeth with a cold tongue. I jumped to my feet. "Oh, think fast, my mind, dear mind of mine. Please get me out of this, and it will never happen again. From now on, I will return to my church. Beginning this day, my life shall run like sweet water." The girl lay back, her hands behind her neck, her legs over the bed. "I shall smell lilacs in Connecticut, no doubt, before I die, and see the clean, white, small, reticent churches of my youth, the pasture bars I broke to run away." "Look," I said, "I want to talk to you." She crossed her legs. "I'm a writer," I said. "I'm gathering material for a book." "I knew you were a writer," she said, "or a businessman or something. You look spiritual, honey." "I'm a writer, see? I like you and all that. You're okay, I like you, but I want to talk to you first." She sat up. "Haven't you any money, honey?" "Money, ho," and I pulled it out. A small, thick roll of dollar bills. "Sure, I got money, plenty of money. This is a drop in the bucket. Money is no object. Money means nothing to me." "What do you charge?" "It's $2, honey." "Then give her 3. Peel it off easily like it was nothing at all. Smile and hand it to her because money is no object. There's more where this came from. At this moment, Mama sits by the window holding her rosary, waiting for the old man to come home. But there's money. There's always money." She took the money and slipped it under the pillow. She was grateful, and her smile was different now. The writer wanted to talk. How were conditions these days? How did she like this kind of life? "Oh, come on, honey. Let's not talk. Let's get down to business." "No, I want to talk to you. This is important. New book. Material. I do this often." "How did you ever get into this racket?" "Oh, honey, Christ's sakes. You're going to ask me that too?" "But money is no object, I tell you. But my time is valuable, honey. There's a couple more bucks. That makes 5. My God, $5 and I'm not out of here yet. How I hate you, you filthy. But you're cleaner than me because you've got no mind to sell, just that poor flesh." She was overwhelmed. She would do anything. I could have it any way I wanted it. And she tried to pull me to her, but no. "Let's wait a while. I tell you, I want to talk to you. I tell you, money is no object. Here's 3 more. That makes $8. It doesn't matter. You just keep that $8 and buy yourself something nice." And then I snapped my fingers like a man remembering something important, an engagement. "Say," I said, "that reminds me, what time is it?" Her chin was at my neck, stroking it. "Don't you worry about the time, honey. You can stay all night." A man of importance. Ah, yes, now I remember. My publisher. He was getting in by plane tonight. Out at Burbank. Away out in Burbank. Have to grab a cab and taxi out there. Have to hurry. Goodbye, goodbye. You keep that $8. You buy yourself something nice. Goodbye, goodbye. Running down the stairs, running away. The welcome fog in the doorway below. You keep that $8. Oh, sweet fog, I see you and I'm coming. You clean air, you wonderful world. I'm coming to you. Goodbye. Yelling up the stores. I'll see you again. You keep that $8 and buy yourself something nice. $8 pouring out of my eyes. Oh, Jesus, kill me dead and ship my body home. Kill me dead and make me die like a pagan fool with no priest to absolve me. No extreme unction. $8. $8.